was a bittersweet moment because my mother had passed before I graduated.
Now if you feel the world's against you, Keita Shines can help you. Be the light and be the change and recognize your values. Changing lives and building nations, cause all of us are great ones. And we just wanna see the light in you.
Hello Shiners, welcome back to another Keita Shines video. And this is not just any video. You would have seen her in the friendship circle, but no, this is Stacy-Ann the lawyer. But prior to her becoming an attorney at law, you would have been on a journey. I want you to again introduce yourself and just tell us a bit about Stacy as a child growing up.
Hi Nakita, hi everyone. My name is Stacy-Ann Williams. I'm an attorney at law. As a child, my childhood was very difficult, but it was also fun. I believe my family structure was awesome. My mother was the strongest woman I knew. She always instilled certain values and principles that even today I hold close and dear to me. As a child, there were certain things that you just could not do. Like you just know that you can't do because of the type of mother you had. And I believe that is important because that puts you on a certain path from very early. And that was good for me.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that was good for me.
Your mother, you're saying she instilled certain values and morals in you as a mother. And I would say, even as a human being, you are also a wife. How would she have helped you to become a wholesome human being?
Well, from very early, you knew the importance of family. You understood the role of friendships. You understood loyalty. She always say, your brother, blood. And blood thicker than water. And she always caused you to know that regardless of what, family is first and friendships are important. She is, even as I think about her, and I'm not gonna get teary.
It's okay. Your mother is like China's, her mother passed away, a very instrumental individual in your life. Like you don't just mold over these things, you know? So yeah.
So not having her is difficult, but over time, you learn to deal with the reality that she's no longer here. And then the things that she left with you are still real, there and close to you. My siblings and I are very close, extremely close, and that is primarily because of certain things that my mother instilled in us when we were younger. My family structure now, I think, is awesome. I cherish my friendships, and I have really good and really close friends. I love my children. I really appreciate them. I love my husband. I enjoy my life now and the journey that has taken me to where I am today.
Beautiful. You speak passionately about your siblings. I would have met them. Tell us something that you really love about Shura and Kemar.
I love so many things about them. My sister is like one of my strongest supporter. She has always been there. As a child growing up, I was just so glad that she was first. So I've always had her. I always, and I look to her for guidance and support. She is also very, very different from me. And so sometimes when you want a different perspective, and a lot of times I don't necessarily agree with her perspective, but I appreciate and respect it.
That's beautiful.
Yes. And so I'm really grateful that I had a bigger sister. My brother, no.
Because you're the middle child.
I'm a middle child, right? So my brother, no. I enjoy having him too. as I even think about him, just knowing that he's there with me on this journey has been awesome. I always had him as a companion, a friend. He also is very different from me. And it's always good to get a male's perspective on certain things, even though I always think it's so skewed. Not that I have anything for against men, but
it's beautifully different.
Yes, and it's good to have, and I can talk to both of them about anything and not worry that they're going to judge me or look down at me. They tell you when they think you're wrong. It's always truthful, natural, blunt if it needs to be, harsh when it needs to be, soft when it needs to be, and you have that support, and that means the world to me.
Family is indeed everything. Tell us 2 things you love about your husband.
He is very strong, and he's a good friend.
Beautiful. And friendship is always important. All right. Now we're going to move to look at Stacy-Ann and Jaden. They would have met Jaden.
Right.
Tell us just a little bit about you and pregnancy. Yes, I wanted that reaction, like literally. And looking at Jaden now, as because that's an important part of a woman. You were able to give birth to a miracle.
Yes. Yes.
And now your miracle in front of you. How you deal with that?
Yeah. My biological child I think he's just so awesome. Pregnancy for me was extremely hard. I was very alone, and everything that pregnancy did to my body, first of all, I applaud every woman who has more than one child.
You're not having any more children?
No. Because having walked that journey, I know it's not for me. I know
again.
I wouldn't do it again to myself.
Wow.
It was extremely hard. Mentally, it was hard. The changes in my body was very hard. Not being able to sleep comfortably, not being able to see certain parts of my body for several months. Knowing that it's there, but not being able to see it. It was just recognizing that stretch marks are now a real thing for you. That the pain, the physical pain. For me, there was a lot of back pain. I didn't know that gum bleeding was a thing with pregnancy.
Gum bleeding?
Yes, I experienced that. I think spitting was disgusting, and
Can you pause a little? Like, I appreciate you sharing. I'm sure there are some mothers there and saying, yes, yes.
And you really can't control it. You don't know when it starts. You don't know when it stops. And the good thing though, my skin, my skin got clean and nice and smooth, and I like that.
For sure.
Save and except for the stretch marks. My hair length and texture was better when I was pregnant, but everything else was just horrible for me.
Yes.
Back pain, my feet would hurt, they were swollen. I could not sleep comfortably. It was just...
And you were working well?
And I was working. Well, I've always been working. So I was working. And I think it's akin to being sick for a very, very long time. And then there were different stages of the pregnancy. So there were stages when you couldn't eat, and whatever you eat would come back up. There were stages when you were just eating a lot, and they tell you, look, you need to gain weight. Because your body mass to carry the child, you need more weight. And so you were under pressure to get fat. It was just horrible for me. And
emotionally, that's a lot though.
Yeah, it's physically a lot. Emotionally, it's a lot. And when you're doing it alone, which at the time I was, because my family I moved to
Yes.
Trelawney at that time,
Mhm.
and my family and friends and my
Were
support system
far.
were in St. Catherine. So I was really alone, working and pregnant. It was just really, really hard.
Wow.
And I know from then that I would not do this
And you made that
ever
choice.
again. And I made that decision when I got pregnant. I just knew this wasn't for me. And then nobody tells you about breastfeeding. So you think when you give birth, you think, okay,
This
that's
is
it. But then there's a period now when you know they teach you that breastfeeding is best,
Mhm.
but nobody tells you the pressure that it puts on your breast. Nobody tells you of the pain. I remember watching my son cry because I know he's hungry, and I'm in two minds. I'm thinking, how do I
Wow.
how do I feed him when I know the pain?
So like you're literally feeling.
Yes, your nipples become sore,
Mm.
and it was just horrible. It really was horrible, and I don't think a lot of there's enough talk
Yes.
about that, because mentally I really wasn't prepared. And I watched several videos when I was pregnant, and I think none of the videos I saw, prepared me especially for breastfeeding. Yeah, so it was just a bad experience for me, and I really, having gone through that, I appreciated my mother more, and I appreciate everyone who says, okay, after doing all of that, I want to go again. I want 2, I want 3, I want 4 kids. I really appreciate and respect that.
But tell us about after all that.
After all of that, no, there's the joy.
There we go. There was then.
Right, there's the joy of it's kind of like baking. You go through the heat and you put everything together, and then you taste the sweet and you enjoy that. My son is my inspiration. He's just awesome. Sometimes I marvel at the things he knows at his age.
True.
And I listen to him and we're having certain conversations. I remember he came to me and he was like, Mommy, I'm really proud of you.
Oh.
He did, yes.
I felt a little
And I said, what are you so proud of? Because he knows nothing of,
Yeah, your journey.
Right.
Yeah.
I said, what are you so proud of? And he was like, because I see that you work so hard.
Aww.
And I was just like, yeah. What do you know about me working so hard?
Like I'm literally
yeah.
That's so beautiful.
Yes, he's my inspiration. And it's in small things. I remember I was playing a game. I was losing in the game. And he passed. And he looked at the game and he was like, Mom, just believe you're going to win. I still lost. But it was funny in the moment.
And also how caring.
Right. And he's very caring. He looks out for me.
He's a sweetheart.
Yeah,
I've met him.
yeah.
Intelligent, and his reasoning level. Like, you're doing a great job as
Thank
a mom.
you.
Like keep it up, keep it up, keep it up. We're shifting because sometimes we're gonna speak about you as the attorney at law, but we don't see this.
Before we get there, I would want to mention my other child because I have 2 children.
Yes, please.
I have one biological child, but as you know, I have a daughter
Yes.
because I love children. I wish I could have more children without the pregnancy, and that's something I'm willing to explore.
Yes.
I got my daughter 3 years ago. She's also awesome. I do have challenges with her based on the fact that I did not have her as a baby, but she's just an awesome addition to my family. And I would encourage more persons, if you can, foster a child, adopt a child. There are many children who are not able to enjoy certain simple things in life because their parents cannot afford it. And there are some women who have children that they don't want. The state have a lot of children that they do not have the resources to care for. And so if you can, it's good to foster a child and to just share your love and your family with someone outside of you. And I'm just really, really glad for my daughter.
You know, Nanny has nothing on you. You're a true heroine. Like, I'm so serious. Like.
I have nanny blood. I always say that.
I believe. just thinking about this, and but what would have inspired you to foster a child?
The inspiration came from my siblings and my son. I know what it's like to have a big sister to call on when you're down or when something so good happened that you need to tell. I've been in situations where I'm just itching to call my sister. Yeah. Oh God, I can't wait to tell Cher. This is happening and I want to tell Cher. And I wanted that for my son. But I also know that I'm not going to give him another biological child. And then I too want more children. I love having them around. They're so much fun. They're so awesome. So it was just the right thing to do. And then when I met my daughter, because I never got to choose, it's not like they placed me in a room. It's literally almost like having your own child. You don't know what's coming, right? So I wasn't placed in a room and said, okay, pick the child that you want. When I signed up and everything, they took her to me. And when they took her to me, it was a little challenging for both of us, for her adjusting. It was very difficult. And for us too, some of the things that she does that, are kind of strange to us, it was challenging. I think the first year was very rough for us. But more and more, you get to love her, you learn to love her, you grow to love her, she grows on you, and she becomes a part of you. And I really, really love my daughter, and I'm grateful that I have her.
Aww. So, beautiful moment. And well done, well done. The plug is there. Perhaps you can share with us how persons can sign up, where they can go to foster a child or so. What do we tell these people?
Check CDA.
Okay.
Yes.
So check CDA. We can insert something CDA there for you, and you can always follow up. All right. We're shifting gears a bit.
Okay.
Right now. Now, you grew up in St. Thomas, I believe.
Yes.
Big up dog at St. Thomas.
Up in the bush there.
High school, where did you go?
I went to Morambe High School.
Okay. Yeah. Did you enjoy your time there?
Yes, I did.
Beautiful.
It was awesome.
After high school, what did you do?
After high school, I became a bartender. My very first job.
Hold on. You, in all of this year?
No, not in all of this.
All right, so tell us about
and it's so funny. I like to get that job, right? I needed a job. I had to work. We were of very little means. That was my reality.
Yes.
We weren't short of love, but financially, we were poor.
Yes.
So at 17, you're out of school, look, you can't sit down up in here. You have to go work because you have to help the household. And so I started looking jobs. I knew I wanted to become a teacher, but at 17, that's not a reality for you. And so I started looking jobs, and I saw an opening for...
So where you saw the opening?
It was at Lynx Cafe. A friend of mine told me about it, and I saw the opening, and I applied. And you can't be a bartender at 17.
No.
So I was 18 at 17. I was 18.
But you were small.
I was, but I was big enough.
Oh, okay.
And then, based on the way my mother is now, you're going to dress like you're going to an office, And then I did that job for a few months. And in watching me and the way I operated, Mr. Abrams moved me from the bar, and I started working as his secretary.
Wow.
And that was good for me. But the aim was always to go to college because I want to become a teacher. Teaching is my passion. Yes, teaching is my passion. And I applied to Teachers College while I was working as Mr. Abrams' secretary at Abe Equipment in St. Thomas. Abe Equipment. Yes. I don't know if it's still there, but I applied to Michael, and when I got in, the big question was, how are you going to go to college? My mother, I know she was proud that I got into college, but she could not see. She could not see. It wasn't possible.
Yeah.
It wasn't possible because there was just, who's going to finance this? Your brother is still in school. Who is going to finance you going to college? And I was like, I got in, so I have to go.
And you are generally a woman of faith.
Yes.
Like you are gonna, there is a way, yeah.
Yes, and I remember even though my mother and my sister just didn't see how it was going to happen, they helped.
Wow.
Yes, they helped. My sister helped with the little money that she had to get me ready. My mother made my uniforms, and even when she was making the uniforms, me don't know where you're going because me don't know how this is going to work. And when I got there, the first thing I started, once I hit campus, when everybody was relaxing and packing out things, I started inquiring about jobs I could do on campus. I tried to find, and I started finding out about scholarships because everybody else can relax, but I know that I don't have the first dollar.
Yeah.
So
wait, like you just got the letter that you have been accepted.
Yes.
Mommy got a uniform, sure did what she could, and you just left from St. Thomas to Kingston?
Yes. Literally, that's what happened. And I started now when I realized that on-campus jobs, they don't pay well enough to cover certain things unless you have support. And I had no support. So I started looking jobs off campus. And I applied everywhere. I just sent application letters out, and I applied to Jamrock. And I had my bartending experience that I could put on it, right? So even though it was for a few months,
yes,
it helped me to get a job at Jamrock. The challenge now was, in my interview, I told them I was at school, and they told me right off the bat, we have 2 shifts. You being at school is not a concern for us. And so the only thing we can do for you is keep you on a steady shift. So if you are going to school in the evening, we can keep you on the morning shift. If you are going to school in the mornings, we can keep you on the evening shift. So I worked the evening shifts all the time, and I did that right through college.
Wow. For 3 years?
Yes. For 3
years. I felt a
years.
thrill in my body a while ago. Evening shift, what do you mean by it? Give us a time.
Okay, so evening shift runs from 5 p.m. to 12 a.m. because Jamrock closes at 12.
How do you manage to do that? School, did you have any friends? Did you participate in any social activities? Like, what did you do at college?
It's so funny. I participated in some things, not a lot,
right?
Because I rarely had limited time to do anything. And I had very good friends. Some of my friends at college, like Bashteen and Claudia, they're still my friends today. They were with me on that journey. They were there for me. They supported me. There were classes that I might miss, and I know I'm getting the notes. And if a handout is being given, somebody's collecting it. Classes were 8 in the morning to 3 in the evenings. And then there was that window between 3 to 5 when I had to run out to get ready.
3 to 4 because you have work at 5.
Right. When I had to be at work. And it was extremely hard, especially around about the time when I had exams. Because you don't get time off to study for exams.
Right.
So I took my notes just to work.
Yeah.
And during my lunch break, I would study. And
I'm telling you, real life heroin, like guys, you know. True.
It was really hard. I remember times when I cried because my feet were just killing me. Because that job was a standing job.
Yes.
You're standing from 5 to 12. And at 12, when we close, you have to break down the bar and wait on the staff bus to take you to where you're going. So it was extremely hard. but I knew what I wanted. And I always say, I try to inspire my students and even my own children. Know what you want, because once you know what you want, you will find a roadmap to get there. It might not be easy most of the time, especially if you don't come from families that are wealthy. It's not going to be easy. But it being hard doesn't mean you cannot reap the reward and the success that you want.
I'm inspired, literally. So you've now graduated college. That moment you went to graduation?
Yes, I
How
did.
did you feel in that moment?
It was a bittersweet moment because my mother had passed before I graduated, and she was just so proud. I can't.
No, like I said,
My mother, she would always say, "Oh, my daughter can become teacher." You know, it was a big thing for her. Like it was just so big for her. The fact that I was at teachers' college, we're not done yet.
Yes.
We don't know if I'm gonna pass
Yes.
and so on. For her, it was just, my daughter is at teachers college. My daughter, and everybody know my daughter is going to become a teacher. But she did not. She died from cancer, so she did not live to see me graduate. And so at the graduation, I wanted more than anything to be able to share